How you doing, Dave? This is
What's up, Peter? How are you?
good. Good. I thought that this was a really important message that we need to share with people. I was on the 5 a.m. call today, and they were talking about professionals versus amateurs, especially, we were just talking about this, when you read the headlines. I think it's so important right now because there's so much volatility. Um, just in a 48-hour time period, where are mortgage rates?
Um, Playing Plinko like the Price is Right. Yesterday, there was some market news came out, obviously with bank out in California that shut down. Mortgage rates actually look like they might be improving for a day. The 10-year Treasury dropped like almost 25 basis points, which was fantastic. And then as the market news settled a little bit, the markets reacted. And pretty much today we've given up almost all the gains from yesterday. So we're really in a tight, volatile range right now. But definitely better days are ahead, and I think we're getting hopefully past. I'm praying we've seen the worst of it. They did talk about potentially two more hikes this year, but that's a lot less than what they potentially were forecasting a couple weeks back. So I think the dust is starting to settle. We know that rates will be better this year at some point in time. We just don't know how quickly they're going to react. But right now the market is still crazy. I know someone looking, well, multiple offers. I have clients made offers this weekend, and pretty much every single house has multiple offers. Lines are out the door. You see at open houses. Even in the $1 million price range, there's lines out the door. So it's insane the amount of buyers out there right now with no inventory. It's kind of crazy. Like, what are you seeing out there?
So, I mean, we just did an open house this weekend. We had 7 or 8 showings. Somebody asked me a pointed question. Hey, if I offer cash, is it going to, get me a better price on the home? And, I had to think about it because this was in a retirement community or 55 plus community where most people have sold their houses and are downsizing. So I was like, typically, yes, but not in this circumstance. And it's just, again, everybody tries to put real estate or, I think that they under kind of estimate what we actually kind of offer as real estate agents, loan professionals, et cetera. And I think just because, and I kept telling everybody at this open house, I'm like, I'm sure you've heard that inventory is really low. You might not be interested in this house, but if I leave you with food for thought, is that when you do find your house with your realtor, don't drag your feet to make an offer, right? Because I can't tell you the difference of 48 hours on making an offer, right? I mean, I was in attorney review on another house and some guy came out of nowhere that was like, I want the house, tell me what it's going to take to get it, right? And he got it, right? And I know that the other person was like tapped out as they were stretched as thin as that they were going to go on this one property. And the
Mm-hmm.
reality is just like, there's not a lot of inventory. We're going into the spring market. You just heard it. I was on the phone with a client, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay in this house as long as I can, right?" And I'm like, "All right, like if you need options, I have you. Like I even threw out reverse mortgages for her, right?" And she was like, "No, I don't do that. I'm into the whole annuity thing and blah blah blah." I'm like, "That's great. Most people don't understand that sort of stuff, right?" So, reverse mortgages are an option for some. Maybe not for this client, but it's again, people, we're all trying to get through this. And when, I think the common sense is basically what you said. Interest rates are eventually going to come back down. We don't know if it's going to be 6 months. We don't know if it's going to be a year, to be quite honest.
Right.
And the one thing that we're getting, going back to the professionals, is I know that you and I believe in having coaches, right? I always say, would Michael Jordan be the best basketball player, in my opinion, that ever lived if he didn't have 5 coaches? This is the kid that got, nixed from the varsity team in high school his freshman year, right? So
Yeah.
coaching does matter. I know, coming from the Tom Ferry and the Brian Buffini ecosystem, and even kind of like, just having a trainer at the gym. How's that coming along for you? Does it work? Does it help?
Absolutely, absolutely. I love, I mean, you always need, it keeps you accountable, right? Obviously, it keeps you in check. You're following a plan. I mean, from an expert perspective, you and I can't stress enough the importance of our initial real estate consultation and mortgage consultation with a client, right? Whether it's a first time home buyer, a repeat buyer, a seller, anything, have a good consultation with an expert in real estate and mortgages. It will make you a better buyer and a better seller, and it will make the process more streamlined. You'll understand everything. And if you understand the whole process, you're comfortable with the monthly payments on things. When you find that right house, you'll be able to jump on it a lot quicker than not being prepared, right? Or then already being behind the eight ball. Hey, Pete, I love this house. Now what? Well, all right, well, where's your pre-approval? Oh, I didn't do that yet. All right. And then obviously we're already, then I get it. And I'm like, I wish I had this a week ago or whatever, because, we might have could have done something to maybe to make it work or make it happen. And, it sometimes, buyers, and I use this analogy, sometimes they got to kiss a frog every once in a while. And if they can't get that house, unfortunately,
Right.
and it takes that, missing out one or two times or three times, unfortunately, to realize, now I understand what Dave was telling me. Now I understand what Pete was telling me, because we're trying to paint the picture, and not everybody can understand, the type of market that we're in, right? And our expertise and our knowledge, and results sets us apart, from competition, and really guiding and giving that knowledge, because knowledge is power, right? And it's making sure that they understand it and making sure that they can grasp it all. And there's people that can figure that out and understand it and grasp it, and they get lucky. And the first three houses they go look at, they can get it accepted. That is not the norm, but yeah, I wish, but that's definitely not the norm, right? But it happens, and it can happen, and it happens to my clients at times. So, just really important to make sure you're working with an expert, an experienced expert in the industry that can really paint that full picture and give you a good, solid consultation so you understand everything, know all, everything, anything and everything that could come up during the process,
Yeah, and I
right?
want to give you a shout out. Like, we were talking about one person specifically that could go either a physician's loan or a VA loan, and
Mm-hmm.
the other lender was pushing, or not pushing, advising on the physician loan, where the VA loan was actually the better option. And again, I think those consultations matter more than what people think, right? Because it's like you wake up one day and you're like, all right, let me look at houses, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
hold on a second, are you prepared for this?
Yeah.
It's weird because one of the topics that we've also been talking about, at least on my side, is what's the new norm, and nobody knows. And anybody that tells you that they do know, it's like, all right, based on what? It's we all know that there's not a lot of inventory, right? But why is that, right? We start
Mm-hmm.
peeling back that onion.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see that, the saving thing, again, what happens? Interest rates go down, more people go into the buyer pool. It's they
Yeah,
would
I
have.
mean, maybe that would help some sellers, obviously, get off the fence. Maybe, I mean, obviously, there's when those sellers have those low rates, it takes something to pull them away from that house, right? Are they done with the school, right? The school year is the end of June. Are they ready? Maybe their kids are finally graduating. They want to move and move down south or whatever. We're always going to get that, normal push,
Right.
from now until, the summer. But some are waiting a little bit longer because houses are, some houses are not that long on the market, right? I mean, what are you seeing average day of market right now?
It's see, we're still looking
And
at like
that's
30.
skewed too.
Yeah, it's again 30 days, whatever. But the houses that are priced right, gone in a week, right? I mean, even a house that I had listed, it's gone, in 5 days. That was originally a rental that turned into a sell, and
And
everybody.
how many offers on that?
We had 3 offers on that, but again, just we weren't being piggish. Like, and again, everybody still wants to come in and take a look at it. And it's like, nah, we're happy. He's happy. He just wants to kind of move on. We're excited for the new buyers, young couple. It's like, stop trying to buy your forever home, buy your for your home right now, because again, my most successful clients have been the ones that bought a house that they've wound up renting out, 3, 4, 5 years later, buying a bigger house. It doesn't matter what interest rates are, and the renter's paying not only for the mortgage on the initial investment, but the part of the mortgage on the second investment, the second property. So it's a long term process, but that's how we're building relationships, and people trust us, right? It's
Mhm.
again
Yeah,
talking about the advising properly. So
right. Yeah, I mean, the average someone has a mortgage in the last like 90 years is like 7.1 years because people they upsize, they downsize, right? I mean, they relocate, they buy something else. I mean, it's common. It's not common nowadays for someone to go buy a house and live there for 30 years. That's not the norm.
right, and I got to bring up the 800-pound gorilla since we haven't talked about it, and it's great clickbait. Silicon Valley Bank, right? That's all people
I
ask
thought we
about.
were going to talk about what's your favorite pie. It's Pie Day, you
Oh,
know?
it's Friday.
Yeah,
Uh,
3.14, you know? But yeah, so go, well, we
pumpkin,
talk about both. Talk about both.
pumpkin
Um,
pie, pumpkin pie.
pumpkin pie.
What about you?
Uh, I'd say apple with crumb, apple crumb. Delicious Orchards, apple crumb, off the hook, you
Whatever
know?
whatever my wife puts in front of me that's called pie, I will eat. It's like so
Yeah.
so anyway, the big the headline thing that we got this week was SVP closed down, Signature Bank closed down. And it's funny because I think Signature just got acquired. I think one of the big banks swept in and took them over. So
There's so many different things, reasons why, but I mean, I was talking to a client yesterday about that with someone. He's just like it's funny that all this stuff it's happening so quick and then, the tightening requirements lift there. They stop giving money to certain industries or they stopped and a lot of different this past couple of years it's affected a lot of different industries opportunities even like tech business thing I know some money dried up and things like that and it's just crazy because it's all relative of everything that's going on globally right now. It's not just one thing to pinpoint, right? And, it's probably not the last that may happen. It makes people think, well, do I put my money here? Do I put my money here? I mean,
sure.
you know, it, there's so many different factors or unknowns about that. But, the important thing is just, I mean, it's challenging. It's a challenging time, you know. But hopefully that everything relative as rates get better, there'll be more opportunity for not just the housing industry, but other, businesses to have more capital flow freely for them to be able to operate and grow and do things accordingly that way. And, it just the overall global economic state has to, improve for that to happen.
Okay. No, and that's the whole thing. It's like, and I don't, one of the things that I always say is like people are looking for homes, right? People are tired of paying rent, especially at like, I think buying a house is tough. Try finding a rental. Especially with subpar credit score. It's crazy. So, I don't want to intimidate anybody that's there. That's a first time home buyer. There is a process. Just make sure that you're the professional. If it's with me or Dave, great. We appreciate that. But not not all cars are the same. Not all realtors are the same. Not all mortgage lenders are the same. So again, feel free to give us a shout. My number is 917-690-5390. Dave.
732-853-4969, best number to reach me. And yeah, have a great day. Have a great Pi Day 3.14.
I love it. 3.1418. That's as far as
3.141592653557, something like that. I remember in math class growing up, I'd go all the way around. I used to remember it's like 3.141592. So I kept going around the room. And then yeah, I lost it after you know, many years. I used to know it to like the 30th power, but now yeah,
your brain filled up that void with something else, I'm
I
sure.
got enough. Yeah, exactly. I got too much finance stuff going on, you know?
Listen, I appreciate everything you're doing, man. Just again, what's your email? Just throw that one out there.
David.baum@ccm.com.
Awesome, dude. Thank you for your time. And again, feel free to reach out, comment, subscribe wherever you're seeing this on social media, DM us. We're here to help. All right. Thanks, guys.
Have a great day, everyone.